So while driver tiles are shared, or the position of them are shared between dispatchers, there are a bunch of cosmetic settings that are unique to each dispatcher so that they can customize the board the way that they want it to. These can be accessed by going up into the yellow gear wheel settings button up here at the top left. And in here we have quite a few different options. So the job size corresponds over here to how big these loads show up. Small or pretty small, so you just see the bill of lading. Medium shows some details, and then large is quite a bit larger with even more details on them that you can see over here. The job list size, you can make it so that it's overflows and you need to scroll down it, or you can have it not need a scroll, so you'd have to scroll down the page. If you have multiple lanes, which we'll talk about in a bit, that might be useful. The board layout, you can have the dispatch board on the left, or you can flop it and have your jobs on the left and the board on the right. The legend, which down here is kind of a key to tell you, if something's, a green color, it's a live load. You can hover over it and see what the different details are for jobs and drivers, just kind of legend different potential colors that may be happening. If you come into here, you can decide to make this detailed, so you don't have to hover, it'll have all the information down here, so you can kind of glance at that. Or if you're already fairly comfortable with the different color schemes that we use in here, you can go ahead and turn that off entirely. So we could go ahead and hide our legend or put on minimal. Table and tile, we talked about in a different video, where you can change the way that the driver layouts are, if it's alphabetical in order, if it's sortable tiles. You can choose to show recently completed jobs on drivers or not, so that if a job is completed, it won't disappear. It'll show jobs that were completed that day, which can be handy. Some other things in here, you can have kind of some aging indicators, whether or not a job is old or not. So if I go ahead and put that on, it will, or I think I did the, let's scroll back down here. Oh, out of order pickup times. So if there are specific pickup times on a job, and you have a job that needs to be picked up after one in the order that you've set on the driver, then it'll give you a warning, which we don't have in this case. Aging jobs will kind of just show like little red or yellow or orange arrows on the side if the job's getting old from when it was created. And the last one is if the drivers don't have an active internet connection, you can choose to fade them out so that they are a little bit more visible if there's a driver that you can actually communicate with if they have a cell signal. So a few options in here you can play with. The other thing to note is that there is this tab here called lanes, which lets you create kind of just a container over here on the side. So we're going to create one right here. We'll just call it canceled loads. And if I create that, then it creates a box right here. We can go ahead and drag and drop different loads. If a load gets canceled, we can put in here for future reference before deleting it at the end of the day or whatever you want to do. Or these could be sub-regions or, equipment specific types of things, whatever you want to do. You can go ahead and create different boxes and categories for these right here. And some of these settings are accessible from without that window. If I click on this icon, for example, we can toggle the job size really quickly without going in there, as well as shrinking and making these boxes bigger and smaller. So if I put it back in there, we can see that some of these settings are accessible no matter where we're at. But yeah, those are some of the main settings you can customize the cosmetics for your dispatch boards.